A beloved daughter, mother, and teacher vanishes just before Christmas. Her family's attempts to reach out to her are met with suspicious text messages. As concerns mount, a horrifying truth emerges, leading to even more heartbreaking events. This is the story of Precious Magabane. Let's get into it. Precious Magabane was born on the 18th of June 1986 at a village outside Burgersfort called Kamahlokwane in the Limpopo province. At the time of her death, Precious was 33 years old, and she was a loving mother of two, a daughter, a sister, and a dedicated teacher, teaching grade 3 at a school also located outside Burgersfort. On the 23rd of December 2018, Precious left home saying she was going to a church service, and she was not heard from after that. Her family tried to contact her, but they could not find her. And this was particularly troublesome for her mother because Precious had bought Christmas clothing for her two children, which she was supposed to bring home to her family where the children lived. And they wondered, it is 2 days before Christmas, where could she be that was so important? And sometime later, they received a text message from her saying that she was fine and that she would come and bring the Christmas clothes. And later she sent another message in broken Sepedi as well as in English, indicating that she had traveled to Sun City in the Northwest Province with a group of friends to spend Christmas there. And of course, her mother found this very strange as to why she would take her children's Christmas clothes with her to vacation when the children needed the clothes for Christmas. There was then a text message from her phone stating that she had left the clothes in her car, which was parked outside her place of residence. But of course, they could not break into the car to get the Christmas clothes, so they let it go. And during the time she was supposedly in Sun City, they did not hear from her, but there was nothing they could do. So in early January, when schools opened, this is in January 2019, her parents sent her sister to go to the school where she taught and find out if she was at work. And of course, they found that she was nowhere to be found. This is when they contacted the police because they knew it was outside of character for Precious to not show up for work without a valid reason. Suspicion quickly turned to Precious's boyfriend, 28-year-old Ashan Frez Shima, a Pakistani national who was working as a shop manager employed by a rich Pakistani business owner who has several businesses in the Limpopo province. There is not enough that is known regarding the nature of Precious and Shima's relationship, such as how long they had been together, the type of relationship they had, and any other important details. So the police searched for Shima initially for questioning, but he had disappeared. And rather, another person that was also tied to this crime, a 26-year-old, also Pakistani national, Riza Ali, was the first person arrested in connection with the disappearance and murder of Precious. On the 7th of February, using cell phone tracking, the police were able to arrest Shima, whom Precious's sister was able to identify as the man who was indeed in a relationship with her sister. Precious's cell phone as well as her other items were found in Shima's possession when he was arrested. Ali, the accomplice, cooperated with police, informing them that he did not take part in the murder of Precious, but rather Shima contacted him on the 23rd, telling him that Precious had come to his place and they had gotten into an argument, and he took out a knife and attacked and took her life. It was discovered during the investigation that following the murder, Shima dismembered the body of Precious, and then he called Ali. This is how Ali became involved in the crime. He contacted Ali, informing him of the argument and the murder, and instructed him to bring 5 refuse bags to his place. Upon Ali getting there, Shima took the plastic bags and Ali says he left. Shima then proceeded to place different parts of the deceased's body into the plastic bags, and he drove around the area of Burgersfort, including mountainous areas, disposing of the body parts. Ali says Shima then called him again, and this time, this was a couple of days later, he called him again saying, I need you to come with me to go to a sports ground in the area to bury other parts of the body that were not disposed of in the plastic bags. Ali went with Shima, and when they got to the sports ground and dug up a shallow grave, in the plastic bag was the head and hands of the deceased, which they buried in the sports ground. Ali testified that Shima threatened to kill him and dismember him as well if he told anyone about this crime. So upon giving his statement to the police, Ali took them to the sports ground where the remains were found. And of course, much of the remains were not found because, as you know, there were certain body parts that were buried there while the rest were discarded all over the area of Burgersfort and surrounds. During the trial, which began in early 2022, Ali turned state witness and the charges against him were dropped. If you are intrigued by my storytelling, please like this video to ensure that it reaches more people. In addition, please consider subscribing to this channel if you haven't yet. So as you can imagine, Precious's family was devastated, not only by the reality that they had lost their daughter in such a brutal manner, but also that her body parts were discarded like trash. Her mother commented that it's not even a quarter of her child, and her family refused to proceed with a funeral for her, insisting rather that the police should find the rest of her remains before the family can have a funeral.
O bolokang ka gore se ba mpotsa go maphodisa ka se kota ya mmele wa ngwanaka.
But despite the efforts, 2 years passed and there were no further discoveries. So in November 2020, which was a year and 11 months after the murder of Precious, her family, realizing that there was no hope in finding the rest of the deceased remains, her family decided that they would proceed with the funeral. And they started with funeral arrangements. However, when they sent their undertakers to the government mortuary in Leboahome, they were met with another devastating blow. Precious's remains had been stolen. With nothing left to bury, the family was forced to abandon their plans for a funeral and instead had a remembrance ceremony in honor of Precious. And they pressed charges of theft in the hope that whoever was responsible for removing her remains from the mortuary could face the wrath of the law. However, there is no information currently which suggests that between 2020 and now in 2025, anyone has ever been arrested or tried for the theft of Precious's remains from the government mortuary. So Shima pled not guilty, and throughout the entire trial in 2022 was very unremorseful and arrogant, including firing his defense team 7 times. So he had 7 different defense teams which he fired, and ended up representing himself in court. Unfortunately, there is no footage available from that trial. I would have shared it here. The court found Shima guilty of murder, of defeating the ends of justice, and some other charges even included theft. The fact that Precious's possessions were found with him. And Shima was sentenced to life in prison. And that is it for today's case. What are your thoughts on this devastating story? Please share them in the comments section. Thank you so much. And remember to like this video and consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you, and I hope to see you in the next one.